Boogie, boogie, boogie. Hello, friends of the Moose Garage. Spark plugs. I ordered them, got them about a week and a half ago. Many of you may know, or maybe you don't know, I checked the valves on this bike recently, and they were all in spec, so that was a pleasant surprise. So I didn't have to adjust anything. Please excuse my cluster of mess here. I have not had time to really clean up the garage per se. I'm using my Commuter wireless mic I bought. Turn the heat up a little bit in here. So I got a bit of a mess everywhere. Coil packs, plastic to the Goldwing. Took the fender off, thought it might help get to the front piece. It didn't. Really, if I give anybody a heads up for the valve inspection on this bike, take it somewhere. I'm just kidding. No, and you're doing it yourself, I would recommend, if you're doing it on a lift or some sort of a jack, I would recommend having it so you can turn the front tire, get the wheel out of the way. Because the timing adjustment, the timing rotation is onto the front of the bike. And it makes it hard to get into the wrench, see what you're doing when you can't see what you're doing. So if that wasn't pushed in back of the wheel and you had the wheel turned, you'd probably be a little better off. However, when I did this, I did it on my lift, so I had my bike in the wheel chock. And my goal was, originally I was going to take the fender off and the inner back fender off. That was an awful lot of work, so I didn't do it. Now presently, I have a lot of stuff laying around, stuff from work throughout, and I thought I'd take. And I got a light from work that they threw out, and I thought I'd take. So you might be noticing a trend here that I take all work's garbage home with me. But it is very usable, very nice to have. So I'll get some of that around later on this year. I'm not going to do a full video of installing spark plugs. That's, sorry, camera view. That's quite a boring escapade. Not anything really that interesting. I will have you know that these take a 16mm wrench, but a 5/8 regular spark plug socket will suffice. So I'm going to take the spark plug out of the bike. I put them back in, but I didn't put them back in there tight. I put them back in there loose, just so the holes weren't open on the bike. So I'm going to pull one of these out of there, and then we'll see what we get. So compare them, set the gap, and set or check the gap, and then get them put back in. I got to take the front cover back off this, put a little oil around it. 16,000 miles is when they recommend you change these plugs on this bike. I am presently at 34,000 on this bike. So they are old but in good shape. They are definitely in need of replacing. So I'm going to take and replace the plugs. I'm going to look up the gap specifications and set that. Get these in. I would like to get an oil change done on this today as well, and get most of the plastic put back on, but I need to get it running with new oil in to make sure I don't have any leaks from having the valve covers removed. Plugs look correct, so we'll put the little cardboard sleeve back on the plug and we will check the gap. I'll look that up online and see what the gap is. Okay, so I had the Goldwing manual saved to my phone. I bought a digital copy, and looking up the spark plug gap, we are looking at 0.80 to 0.90 millimeters, or 31 to 35 thou. That'd be a 0.031 to 0.035 thousandths of an inch. For those of you who don't do thousandths of an inch, there it is. spark plug gap. So I'm going to check all those as I put them in and reset them as required. I'm probably just going to use my feeler gauges here. I'm going to get a 31 to 35 inch gap, and we'll check the spark plug gap. Then I'll turn the camera off to save you all the annoyance of watching me turn a wrench for no reason. So I have a 30 and 32, and then if need be I can put some otherwise with that. So we'll try a 32. That'd be a good in between. 31 to 35. 33 would be perfect, but beggars can't be choosers. So we are at a 32 at least. So 33 and a half. We're not at 33 and a half. So what about 32? We need a 30 and we'll do 33. 32. Bear with me while I try to do math on camera. Isn't this exciting?
I think this does. So 32 wouldn't fit. So 32, 30. Jesus Christ. So 28, 30, 31 and a half, 33, 32 and a half. Harley, I turned the feeler gauge, you know, why not?
I'm going to see if I got a spark plug gapper available so I got something to bend the electrode out of the way with. And I do. Most of you will recognize a gap plug tool. These are not always exactly accurate, but they do have an item on there so you can open the gap up. So I'm going to check this against my feeler gauges. It's about right. So the feeler gauges are, this gauge of mine is really accurate to the feeler gauge. So we're just going to use this. This is set at 33 to 34. As well within the specifications. We will just check it. So it's about 33 and a half according to this little gauge and according to my feeler gauges. So we'll set all of them with this, and then we'll get them in the bike. Yeehaw. In case any of you don't know, there are lots of videos online, so I'm not going to reset the gap on this plug. But the numbers are on there. They also go in metric, I guess, millimeters. And if you want to take the gap out, you put it in there and you twist it. And that gets the gap bigger on the spark plug. Then to get it back in, you tap it on something. And that's usually how you set gaps on a plug. These are about right in the box, I think. So we're just going to stick these in and go to town.